Pop quiz. Approximately how many days does the average person live for? Is it A, 28,000 days, B, 280,000 days, or C, 2.8 million days? Lock in your choice in 3, 2, 1, and the correct answer is A, just 28,000 days. Think on that for 10 seconds while the intro rolls. Welcome to Get It Together, and if you're new here, this channel is just me trying to figure out how to get my life together and sharing the tips and lessons I learned along the way. And I don't know about you, but when I failed that rapid response single multiple choice quiz, it was a sobering feeling. Like, whoa. Life is so much shorter than I thought. The amount of Netflix I consumed suddenly felt guilty, and the generosity of thought I gave to things I have no control over felt criminal. So what is this all for? Everything we do, all the stresses that we carry day over day, it's not only for staying alive, but it's also to carry a sense of fulfillment through improvement, however we choose to define fulfillment and improvement for ourselves. And so it stands to reason that looking at productivity through a financial sustenance lens will make us feel empty. We need to examine it through the prism of fulfillment and responsibility instead. And so productivity means getting shit done. The output alignment towards desired net results. So I welcome you to reframe that word productivity, not just in terms of economic value, but to stack it against what you desire out of life holistically. Okay, so remember those 28,000 short days. How does this relate to productivity exactly? By defining a productive life, we can define a productive year, a productive month, a productive week, and a productive day. I welcome you to examine your productive life against these 4 buckets. Health, money, relationships, and individual fulfillment. Interested in my bucket definitions as examples? Let's take a quick look. Health, it's pretty simple. Get to under 17% body fat percentage and retain a fasting blood glucose of less than 5.6 millimolars. Money-wise, the shortest term goal, as you know if you've been with me for a bit, is to gross at least 3,300 Canadian dollars per month, 100% through my own side hustle endeavors, so that after tax deductions, my baseline survival needs, including a roof and food, are met without being dependent on an employer that could let me go at any time. The relationships bucket has the most moving parts. I want to spend at least 1 dedicated hour per week with my mom and sister. Kick it with my tiny circle of 5 friends by trying to build additional side hustles together. And find a significant other who is entrepreneurial, lives within a 10-minute drive, and is genuinely okay with not needing to see each other every single day. Is that a unicorn? Maybe. But I believe that the people we allow into our lives, whether through friendships, business, or romantically, need to be handpicked like diamonds, since humans can be either the most fulfilling or most stressful elements in our day-to-day existences. Finally, onto fulfillment, there are a few things that fill this bucket. To create more than I consume in all areas of life. So, for example, I need to cook more than I dine out. I need to spend more time making YouTube videos than I do watching them. Stuff like that. And as you know, I'm issuing myself a monthly challenge every month this year, and to ensure that when I close my eyes at night, I can confidently answer these 2 questions. 1, did I perform the tasks to stay consistent with this month's challenge? And 2, what did I learn today in the pursuit of this month's challenge that will inform future actions and thoughts? By the way, if you're curious about last month's challenge, you can check out what were, to me, fascinating lessons that I learned in the video I'll link right up here. But by defining the contents of these 4 buckets, you'll have a clear picture of what a productive life is to you, and by extension, we'll be able to take action to fulfill these buckets, which, by definition, means that your daily actions can be measured against fulfilling these desired net results. Tip 2 is to know how long things should take, and one law that can help with this is Parkinson's law. It states, and catch this, the perceived complexity of a task expands to fill the time that you allotted. This is to say that if you allot 3 weeks to write a school essay, guess what? It'll take 3 weeks and become 3 weeks worth of complicated. But you and I both know that when we've had deliverables in the past and we slacked off till the 11th hour, we still got the job done. Or put conversely, if you leave it to the last minute, magically, it only takes a minute. The whole point of sharing Parkinson's law is, of course, not to encourage you to wait till the last minute to do everything, but rather to encourage you to examine the perceived complexity portion, while thinking of desired net results and how to achieve them in a way that makes sense for you, all framed in the context of time spent. As a random example, I used to say Sunday is laundry day, and it would take the whole day sporadically, not achieving much else, as I chalked it up to, meh, Sundays are made to be relaxing. But now, I know that laundry takes me 3 minutes to load into the washer, 42 minutes in the washing machine, 2 minutes to transfer to the dryer, and 60 minutes to dry, and 10 minutes to both fold and put away. I also know that, coincidentally, the average episode length of the shows I watch are about 42 minutes, and so I can unwind with an episode of The Wire or Snowfall while the load is in the washing machine. I also know that my weekly grocery trip end to end takes just under an hour, including travel time, so while the clothes are in the dryer, I do all the groceries I need for the week. Get home, put away the groceries, and spend the 10 minutes max to fold, hang, and put the laundry away. Knowing that it takes an hour and 57 minutes to do all my laundry, decompress with some TV, and do a week's worth of groceries now makes Sundays feel orders of magnitude more productive. This of course goes so far beyond laundry and groceries. I encourage you to take a stopwatch to your most common tasks for just 1 week, so you never have to fall into the trap of saying things like, yeah, it'll take a couple of hours, ever again, and instead confidently know that, as a random example, I can get it done in 3 45-minute sessions over the next 3 days. Tip 3 is to have your to-do list accessible, and here's the important part, identifying your big daily 3. Life happens. We may want to accomplish a lot in a day, but when the toilet leaks or the offspring scrapes their knee, those are temporary calendar clearers. We can't control the curveballs, but what we can do is commit to clearing 3 things off our to-do list each and every day. This is a powerful exercise in prioritization because it forces us to identify linchpin tasks. You know, those tasks that are either required as prerequisites for other tasks, or those tasks that, when completed, would make other tasks significantly smoother. The axes to help with prioritization are going back to tip 1, our 4 buckets. After all, everything in our to-do list should be supporting our 4 buckets, our definitions of a fulfilling and productive life. So what does this look like in practice? Personally, I use a reminders app that's free and preloaded on all Apple devices so it's consistent between my computer and my phone. And it doesn't matter if you don't have an iPhone or an Apple computer because boatloads of productivity apps exist. I drag and nest things as need be, with one of the last things I do before I sleep as reordering these tasks for tomorrow's big 3. I'm gonna be honest, most days I knock out 5 or even more since lockdown. But the point is, come hell or high water, the big 3 as determined the night before must get done by the end of the day. No ifs, ands, or buts. To summarize, tip 3 is to have an ongoing to-do list with the absolute completion target of 3 things per day, prioritized against moving the needle in the most impactful ways towards fulfilling our core buckets of a defined, meaningful life. The bonus tip here is my score sheet. I have this grid in my notebook. It's my weekly bucket score sheet. Every Saturday when I wake up after the previous week has had the time to be put to rest over a night of sleep, I open this up and rank my gut feeling of accomplishment for each of these buckets. I give a score out of 10 for health, a score out of 10 for money, a score for relationships, and a score for fulfillment. If I score 30 or more out of 40, I smile and continue with my life. If, however, I ever score less than 30 out of 40, I immediately issue the next task on the to-do list of identifying the reasons why and reevaluating the contents of my buckets and ensuring everything on the to-do list realigns accordingly. The aloof and procrastinating and unproductive cycle happens when things aren't defined, and so I welcome you, first and foremost, to tackle tip number 1 of this video and fill your buckets with quantitative metrics that mean something to you. And if you're struggling with defining these goals, I definitely think you'll get a lot from watching this video right over here. By the way, if you're getting value, please do hit that like button. And if you're interested in seeing more videos just like this one, please consider subscribing. I'm just a normal, everyday person just like you trying to figure out how to get my life together, and I'd love for us to share in our journeys together. Catch you guys in the next one.